Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel for another session with Kelsel's Arcade. In this session, we're going to be checking out the top 12 games that we want to see and play and add to the recently ordered iiRcade system, which should be shipping any day now. We ordered this yesterday. If some of you watched the video, Lily and I were deciding which cabinet to buy. It was a close call, to be honest, between having the Samwa style sticks in the Space Ace, but not genuine Samwa sticks, or going for the genuine Sanwa sticks that would be in either the Mutant League, which is available for pre-order, or the Dragons Lair, which is available now and in stock. So we went for Dragons Lair. This is a well-spec system. It's more the premium one, as I said, with 128 gig and the Samwa joysticks. But also, I just felt, for our arcade, it's more about the classics, and whether you like Dragon's Lair or not, it does have a place in video game history. So, looking forward to adding this into the arcade. Not sure where it's going to go yet, but we'll figure it out. Nice high-spec system here, 19-inch screen. You've got a 100-watt amp, 250-watt speakers, I believe, so comparable to the mod we did on the Mortal Kombat Arcade 1-Up. You've got a good CPU and GPU, equivalent in terms of performance to a Pi 4, I believe, so no trouble at all running newer 3D games. 128 gig of storage, no way you're going to need this, even if you added every single game in the store, which we won't be. There's just over 12 titles that I would add, and obviously we picked a top 12, which I'll talk you through in a moment. Certainly don't need that space yet, but just future proofing, assuming they're going to be adding some better titles that take up more space in the future, may need that. Otherwise, some good features here. Looking forward to seeing this, seeing how the build quality compares to the Arcade 1-Up. But what about the games? In all honesty, for the games that come with it, I wouldn't buy this cabinet. But obviously the value proposition here is not in the games that come with, but in the ability to add the games that you like from the store. So let's just kind of go down top 12 games, whether those are the games that are on it or that we need to add. What are the top 12 games that we're looking to play on this, and why 12? Well, actually I found it difficult to do a top 10, so 12 was a number that I was happy with. But also I think, if we're going to do a comparison, which we will, to a more recent Arcade 1-Up product, Big Blue comes with 12 games, so 12 seems a good number. So, starting off, we'll just go down the list here and pick out the 12 that we would want to play. The first one on here in terms of featured games is Retromania. Originally, this is a game that I wanted to add, but I decided at one point that we weren't going to get an iiRcade, and I bought this on the Switch instead. I gotta say, it's the biggest waste of $30 ever. For me, classic wrestling arcade games are the way to go. Something like a Saturday Night Slam Masters by Capcom would be in my kind of top 5 wrestling games. This, as a newer game, trying to recreate that retro vibe, just didn't do it for me. Played it for about 5 minutes, deleted it from the Switch. So we won't be adding that. But the first one on here that I'm excited to add legally is R-Type. Fantastic shooter. Released by iiRcade, May 15th, 1987. Absolutely love this game. One of the best shoot 'em up arcade games, in my opinion, of all time. So we have this on a Pi 4, but as some of you know, if there's a way to buy a licensed game, and that's one of the key reasons that we're getting an iiRcade, this will be number 1 for me in the top 12 list. Not number 1, it's in no particular order, but the first one we're adding into the top 12. Continuing through the list, next one really that jumps out, Burger Time. Again, I actually have this, I've bought this on the Switch, but I like this game. It's a classic, would like to add this, so this is in the top 12 for me. Continuing through, Alien Storm, released by Sega, 1990. Love this game. Don't really have this anywhere else as a purchase. It's on the Pi 4, so we'll definitely be adding this. It'll be number 3 in our top 12. And then Dead Cells. Haven't ever played this, but I've seen the reviews. It looks awesome. Retro vibe, but with a modern twist. Fairly pricey at $25, but definitely one that we will be adding to the cabinet when it arrives. Continuing through some of the more recent additions, this Ganru game seems to pop up quite a bit in reviews. Looks okay, not something I've ever played, not going to make it into the top 12, but I may add that in the future. Could say the same for Mario's a Cops actually. This seems to be quite popular, but again, not something I've played, wouldn't make it into the top 12. Number 5 spot is going to be filled by this Rangok Skies, and again, this is a game I haven't played. It's a more recent game, 2020 release by Samurai Games. This is something that we're definitely going to add. It looks awesome. I'm looking forward to checking this out. And then number 6, if we go into top downloads, and Riptide. Again, a newer game by Vector Unit. This looks very cool, kind of a cross between kind of a wave race type game and a Wipeout. This looks pretty cool. Definitely looking forward to getting that one. And then Dead Effect 2 as well. Again, a newer game I haven't played. I think that's one of the draws to this cabinet. You've got some classics on here, but you've got some newer games as well, which are going to be cool for the younger generation. Dead Effect 2 also has this kind of control mechanism utilising the 2 joysticks, and that looks pretty cool, so I want to check that out for myself. Going down in kind of action beat 'em up category, we mentioned Alien Storm. Bad Dudes will be the next one. Again, another Data East title released in 1988. This is a classic for me. Definitely want to add this to the cabinet. Definitely has a spot in the top 12. eSWAT, I was thinking about whether I would add that. I probably will add that, but I don't think it's in the top 12. And then Double Dragon comes with the cabinet. If they had a Double Dragon in stock with the decals already applied, I think I would have ordered that over Dragons Lair. This is one of my favourite arcade games, so definitely makes it into the top 12. These puzzle games, not familiar really, not really played Lode Runner. I guess I probably should have done. It's a classic iRcade title, but not for me. And then the adventure games here, nothing that stands out that I would add in the top 12. The arcade games, we mentioned Burger Time, but otherwise there's nothing else in here in the top 12 for me. ColecoVision, a little bit before my time, nothing in there. And then the fighting games, these are not for me. If I think of classic beat 'em ups, I'm thinking Final Fight, Streets of Rage. I'm thinking one-on-one beat 'em ups like Street Fighter 2 is one of my all-time favourite games ever. Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct. These games are not my cup of tea, so I won't be adding any of those. The platform games, we mentioned Dead Cells, that looks very cool. Nothing else in here that really stands out for me that would make it into a top 12. And the same with the puzzle games. If I'm looking for puzzle games I would want to see, it would be things like Puzzle Fighter, it would be things like Puzzle Bobble, Tetris. These are not the puzzle titles for me. Racing games, Beach Buggy Racing is obviously one that comes on the cabinet. We'll probably leave that on, but that doesn't make the top 12 for me. Cisco Heat, I actually love playing that in the arcade, but wouldn't make it into the top 12, I don't think. Going into the role-playing games, nothing here that stands out. For me, role-playing games were on consoles, not necessarily in the arcade. I realise this is a cross between a kind of home arcade, home console, but for me, the classics are things like Legend of Zelda, Mystical Ninja, Secret of Mana. These are not the RPG games that I would play as a kid. It would be cool to see something along the lines of Final Fantasy or Legend of Zelda or something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I just play those games on the Switch anyway. Maybe they don't have a place here. Shoot 'em ups, we mentioned R-Type, that's a classic. Looking forward to playing that on the iiRcade. Otherwise, we mentioned Rangok Skies. Nothing else here that would make it into the top 12. Continuing on. Actually no, EDF. EDF is a pretty cool shoot 'em up by Jellicoe, 1991. I think that does make it into the top 12, yes. And then into the sports games, Best Bout Boxing by Jellicoe. This was a newer title. I was thinking this was an older title, but I just had to quickly check this out. The 1994 title. Really liked this in the arcade. That definitely makes it into the top 12. Nothing else in here for now. Obviously we'll be checking out the Mutant League Football when that's available. And then the preloaded games, not really much here, to be honest, that I would want to buy the cabinet for. You know, we'll probably play a couple of these just to see what they're like for those that I haven't played. The big Beach Buggy Racing will probably stay on there, maybe Bomb Squad will stay on there too. Diver Boy looks interesting for a couple of minutes maybe, probably end up removing that. Double Dragon, yes. Dragon Master, no. Dragons Lair, of course. And then these other games, not really things that I'd be into. But definitely a solid list there, a solid top 12. Just to kind of recap: R-Type, Burger Time, Dead Cells, Alien Storm, Rangok Skies, Riptide, Dead Effect 2, Bad Dudes, Double Dragon, EDF, Best Bout Boxing and Dragons Lair. Definitely a solid lineup there for kind of a top 12 to get us started. So if you're interested in seeing a kind of unboxing and review of the iiRcade, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you disagree with the top 12 that we picked out there, let us know what we're missing. And of course, be sure to check back soon. In the meantime, happy gaming, and we'll see you on the next one.